So, I want to ask you a couple of questions and think about the answers. How many of you have been in a situation where you've been in a group activity, whether at work or some social gathering, and you haven't spoken up, you haven't expressed your opinion or view or weighed in on something just because you're afraid of what your coworkers or friends might think about what you might say? You know, that fear of speaking. Yeah, I've had that. How many of you have had a job interview and it never fails, you think about how you did in that job interview after the fact, and you start thinking about how you could have done it better or how you could have responded better, because maybe you stammered some, or you just really got your words jumbled up. You keep thinking about things and you feel like your response was very confusing, but if you had just done A, B, or C, it would have been better. Have you had that happen? Because I certainly have. I think we all have had that experience. What about speaking up either to support or defend yourself, you know, in a work or a social engagement, or even your group? You know, maybe your team has something going on, but you hesitate to say something because you don't feel comfortable expressing your position effectively, and you fear what other people may say. It's a situation I think we all can reflect on, because we all can have personally experienced it. Well, there's a term for speech anxiety, the fear of speaking publicly, glossophobia. All of us, in some way, you know, have experienced that. However, various people deal with it differently. Well, there's a way to address this. We've got an answer for this. It's called practice. And we've got a professional organization that'll give you the opportunity and educational resources to be able to practice getting more comfortable speaking your thoughts. Well, how can we do this? Well, let me rewind a little bit. I mentioned that we have an answer, and it's called Toastmasters. What is Toastmasters? Well, back in 1924, Ralph Smedley, who was the director for education at a YMCA in Bloomington, Illinois, decided he wanted to find some way to help support the community and give the people a way to get better at planning meetings, conducting meetings, being part of committees, planning programs. And he felt the best way to do that would be to set up an environment, create a club where people would get together and practice working on that kind of stuff. And he chose Toastmasters because it was a popular term at the time for people who would, you know, conduct toasts at a banquet or other occasions. So it was a common, fairly representative term for the time that has stuck. Well, since those meager beginnings back in 1924, Toastmasters now has 16,000 clubs, 350,000 people across 43 different countries. It truly is an international organization. So the motto for Toastmasters is to speak, lead, and grow. Think about how that motto grew out of the goal for Ralph Smedley to create an environment for people to be able to learn how to speak better, conduct meetings, plan programs, or be part of committees. Well, how do we accomplish this? Well, the organization's been around for near a century. There's been a lot of chance for the experience of every individual that's been part of Toastmasters to really contribute. But today, we have a structured educational program called Pathways. And what's unique about it is all that experience that has gone into it over time has had a chance to evolve and be updated. I mean, the way we spoke a century ago is very different than the way we do today. And also what we find important, how we express ideas, is very different today. So we've got a very modern structured educational program that has 11 specializations. Each one of these specializations can be tuned for an individual's goals or needs, to fine-tune it for what they need to get out of them. And what I would like to do, if you'll give me a moment, because there's 11 of them, I'd like you to listen to these and think about which ones might interest you, which ones might strike a chord and you might want to find out a little bit more information about. Dynamic leadership, effective coaching, engaging humor, innovative planning, leadership development, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, strategic relationships, team collaboration, and visionary communication. So there's a lot of content to meet the needs of any individual who wants to partake in this. We also have a lot of experienced people that are part of the clubs. In fact, we've got a mentorship program for people who have been through these programs, who can work with you and help you meet your goals by expressing their experiences and how they addressed, their path. How do they learn? How do they do this? Now, what might you expect if you go to a Toastmasters meeting? Well, it's a structured meeting. Most of the time, in general, there's a lot of different clubs. Portland is a fairly large metropolitan area. There's a lot of clubs, and you can generally find a club that meets with the times or the days that could suit or fit your calendar. In that club, you're going to see that the meeting's structured. You've got a Toastmaster that kind of sets the theme. The theme is something we can have fun with. We've got evaluators that kind of help us improve by providing positive feedback. Some of these evaluators help us with time. Time management is very important. How many of us have been in a meeting where somebody had a 10-minute slot in their agenda and they took 20 and then just jumbled up the rest of the meeting? I mean, I've seen that quite often. We've got other people there, and their goal is to help us become better and succeed. So if you are interested in getting any further information, it's free to go to a club near you and find out how you may join. Now for me, I picked team collaboration, and I think I've only been here 9 months, and I would say that in the 9 months time I've gotten much better at speaking with clarity and with impact than I was before. I'm a technical consultant, and my safe zone, my comfort zone, is just spewing out technical details. A lot of people don't like that. So I beseech you, if you have any questions, I'm available to try to address any of them. Toastmasters International has a website if you would feel more comfortable just going there to get some information. But please feel free and come join us. Thank you.
Wow, good.